I have the privilege of interviewing my upcoming guest, who is all the way in Idaho. His name is Brad Dalton. I met him through Coach Viliami to Advise coaching program. He is an author of a bestseller, a dad of two boys, lifelong educator, empowerment and success coach. I love his title, Chief Encouragement Officer. I need one of those. Soulful leader and a positive motivator, as well as I think you have this energy about you. We were talking about Deslin Hawkins, who has that what is that? It's almost like an infectious, charismatic energy. And I think with you, I got that. And once I found out that you're a dad of a son on the spectrum, I thought we need, as a former special education teacher, I come across parents who feel that, I think their perception is it is a curse or it's something that will make their child behind in life. I have one mom who thought that she passed on the special ed like gene, and I was telling her you can't pass it on, and he's learning impaired.
Okay.
And so from from your perspective, how do you even handle, it's hard to handle parenting with kids who are not on the spectrum, right? How do you handle being a dad of two boys? What are the ages?
15 and 18.
Wow.
Yeah. 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 And kind of getting to what you were alluding to there. By the way, thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you. I know Brad has like 4 interviews, and I was just like, wow, thank you so much for blessing me with this opportunity, because it is start of the holiday season. It is insane. And I really appreciate you taking the time.
Well, I love your juice and I love this topic, man. I love Gibson Nation came strong today. I've been just swigging whatever's in here this morning, just ready to give Karen
to share your knowledge with us. Yes. What is your secret, since you empower? How do you empower parents who have kids who sometimes push your buttons a little too much? I mean, you're just not ready to handle it, whatever emotions you're going through. And when you're ready, it's more tolerable. But what do you do?
Right. Well, I think the most important thing for all parents to recognize is you can't ever quit investing in you. You know, one of the biggest problems, I mean, from front to back to where I am right now, yeah, it is an absolute roller coaster. And I call it a solar coaster, because man, you've got some ups and downs, and your soul is going to get tested time and time again in the process. And a lot of times, whether it be, in business life or, as educators or coaching or whatever lane you're in, and we're talking about our kiddos, on the autism spectrum right now, you quit taking care of you. And if you can't fill your cup up, there's nothing to overflow to give to the people you care about the most. We're talking about helping the people we love the most, the people that are tightest in our circle. It becomes a selfish move when you're not a little selfish. It becomes a selfish move when you don't fill up your own cup. You have to fill up your cup. And when you fill up your cup, everyone around you starts to benefit from the overflow. It is a tough job, but you have to invest in you first. That would be the number one thing when I talk to people that are in similar situations. This is supposed to be fun. I mean, being a parent is one of the greatest opportunities we'll ever have. And if it's always feeling like a job to you, got to make some adjustments. I mean, it's the definition of insanity to try to get different results doing the same thing. And it has to start with us. So
what do you say when parents say, I just don't have time or energy to I don't have time to do that?
Yeah. Well, one, I don't believe in that. I don't believe that. I don't buy it. I don't believe we catch our breaks. We make our breaks.
Yes.
I believe that, we make time. If it's a priority to you, you make time, bottom line. And
Yes.
so when someone comes to you and they have that stuff, you start to do an audit of your life. You do an audit. I mean, there's a bunch of different audits you can do. You can do an attitude audit. You can do, really just look at, where's my energy going? Is my energy going towards, is it gravitating towards the things positively, towards the things that I care about the most? It really, I mean, backing it up, when you start each day, you should have 3 big ideas. 3 things that this is important to me. These are the 3 priorities. We may have 25 things on the list. We may get more than 3, but we got to have 3 big ones. And, for the week, we have 3 ideas. For the quarter, we have 3 ideas, if you're talking business and whatnot. But if the energy that you have going on in that day that you say that you don't have time for, and trust me, I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I get the time thing. But if the ideas, the energy, the things that you're doing aren't gravitating you positively towards those big 3, then you got to kick them to the curb. They don't belong in your day. If you say you don't have time, figure out where your energy is going. You may have 50 things to do that day, but you're not going to get to all 50 things. And if you try to, you're going to be spread so thin that you're going to be crummy at the bulk of them. You're not going to be where your feet are because you're constantly multitasking. Your brain is elsewhere. You're not present with the things that are most important to you. So you got to make time. A winning mindset, a champion's mindset believes that they can create time, they can create space, that they make their breaks. That's what a winning mindset looks like. And you're not just winning for your child, you're winning for yourself. You deserve a fantastic life. I think it's your birthright to be excellent.
Wow. That's pretty powerful, because I think, especially during the holidays, for one, I'm not that I'm a Scrooge, but I love the Christmas, the idea of Christmas, but the commercialism. Now that I'm planning a funeral, and I thought, you know what, I might cancel Christmas. I've canceled Christmas before, and the world didn't end,
Right.
And that means the gift giving. But how do you even get into it? How do you get into that positive mood? Because I know there have been times when I'm tired, I think, I don't think I can do this. I can't parent coach. I can't tutor. I'm going to resign from motherhood. Then you realize, shucks, I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm a forward-minded thinker. And to me, generally speaking, when people are in kind of the I can't mode, or, they are reflecting on past experiences. Like,
Yes.
this didn't work out for me in the past, or I have a bad taste in my mouth from something in the past. And I'm just a forward-minded thinker. And so I'm always, how can I, take, for instance, when my kiddo was diagnosed on the spectrum.
Yeah.
When he was first diagnosed, that was one of the roughest next 15 minutes of my life. Because I'd been a lifelong educator. My wife had been an educator, and I'd seen what it looks like. I've seen the severe and profound. I've seen the high functioning, and it doesn't matter which end of the spectrum you're from or in the middle, there's bullying. There's cyberbullying more so these days. There's people looking at you funny because you acted non-typical in the grocery market. There's people just talking and chattering and gossiping. I knew that was coming. And I was also a big time athlete. Well, I was an athlete anyway. I played college baseball. My wife was Gatorade Player of the Year, which means state player of the year, her senior year in high school. She played Division I college basketball. We're both athletes. We both knew that it might not happen for them there. There's just so many things that were going on. So like, I got into the car, there were tears. I just felt like I'd been slugged in the gut. So like, for the next 15 minutes on my drive home, man, I was feeling sorry for myself. I was feeling sorry for him. I was like, it's just all these emotions. But by the time I got in my driveway, I decided that I wasn't going to do this. I wasn't going to do this to him. I wasn't going to do this to us. My next thought was, how can I make this the best life possible for him? It's not fair of me to have any other mindset. I operated like I can't have any other mindset, because any other mindset's not going to allow me to fall forward, to fail forward, to create big opportunities. And I've learned in the process that, everyone's big opportunities, everyone's big ideas, they all look different. None are, worse or better or whatever than the others, but they all look different. There's nothing wrong with being non-typical. We're all non-typical. I mean, my typical doesn't even look like it looked like 3 months ago. Our typical is always changing. So what's wrong with non-typical? But anyway, getting back to my original point, I had to become a forward-minded thinker. That was what was going to give him his best shot. And frankly, it's good for me too. It's not healthy. It's not healthy just to be a cellar dweller, to stay in pity city.
Cellar dweller.
Yeah.
Coming up with a lot of neat terms. Well, and so did you just give yourself, I like that. You gave yourself 15 minutes of just, and someone just told me that, like when you're in the middle of it, like I get crazy when I can't find something. I couldn't find my mom's checkbook and I was like, I need to find it now. And my family's like, it's somewhere in the house. And then it's like, you just have to be aware, stop, and either deep breathe or do something. Otherwise, you just get into this, what is it? It's like an obsession to be in the cellar dweller.
Yeah.
Ooh, did someone teach you this?
Teach me how to the term, or
no, the fall forward, and I'm gonna just be just dwell in this for 15 minutes, and I refuse to do anything but, what did you say? Prepare for your son's best life.
Yeah. Wow. I wish, I mean, there's been lots of life lessons along the way, but I've always been, I think, just being a teacher and being a coach. I got my first head coaching job when I was 22 years old. Wow. And I've just always been in the business of adding value. And, one of the greatest gifts to not only another, but to yourself is the gift of adding value, because by adding value to someone else, you're also adding value to your life. And I guess I've just always been passionately positive. And so, I don't know. I think, and I've just been hungry to learn my whole life. I've got probably 50 books at home I still haven't even read yet, but I saw it. I was like, ooh, I think I can learn from that. Or, ooh, I think I can use that to help someone else. That's been me my whole life. So I mean, I had incredible professors and incredible coaches, but I can't pinpoint one moment. I can say this, there's nothing for you parents out there, or maybe even teachers, or anyone that's working with kiddos on the special needs spectrum. There's nothing that could possibly prepare you 100% for what you have coming or what you have in front of you. There is no written in stone playbook. There isn't. I mean, anyone's had multiple kids, that almost always no two kids are alike. And man, when you have a kiddo on the spectrum, your playbook could change every 2 weeks. That's no exaggeration. What worked to keep them kind of disciplined and on the straight and narrow and working behaviorally and on all that stuff, what worked 2 weeks ago, it may not work today. It may not. And so that's when you really got to get married to the success road. You've got to be into the success road. You've got to understand that success is not a destination. Success is the journey. Success is the road. And it's a process. A lion isn't a lion because he has a big heart or he's courageous. A lion is a lion because he's into the hunt. Like, he's into the hunt. If you've ever seen a cat sneaking up on a bird, they get real low to the ground and their butts in the air, and then they wait for the right time, boom, they pounce. And it's into the process. And we as parents, as educators, as anyone who's working with peeps, I mean, it doesn't have to be, you don't even have to be working with them. Maybe you're standing in line behind someone.
Yes.
It's for everybody. I mean, meet people where they're at. Meet them where they're at. That's another lesson I've learned along the way.
a huge thing. Meet them where they're at, because I think a lot of us, like I was telling Brad earlier, I had a 5-year-old yesterday who just did not want to meet me where I was at, and I thought, you know what? If he's having this temper tantrum, we're at a park, I'm gonna have him scream as loud as he wants, and it's okay. I think that's
Mhm.
what we have to teach kids, that it's okay to be sad, to be upset. As soon as I saw the dad go, you know what? Just pay attention, stop it. And I said, no, just, you can go into your car and it'll be fine. And then they
Right.
become apologetic. And I think we need to, right? Just
Mhm.
embrace it and not judge it.
Yeah.
Recently, that's
Oh,
been a lot, right? It's like, do not judge emotions to be bad or good. But I think as a parent, we do start judging, like we're making progress. Then all of a sudden you think, oh my gosh, we just took 100 steps back.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that it's important to teach ourselves included how to
Yeah.
use those emotions, because I don't look at anything as bad and not bad. I look at it as productive and non-productive. And you could have a bad moment that could still be a productive moment if you're learning from the moment. I can't remember where I read this. I read something this week where the average 18-year-old in a relatively positive family is told no around 148,000 times before they turn 18. 148,000 times. And you wonder why people are afraid to do stuff. There's so many people that are afraid to take a chance on themselves, like entrepreneurs. And I know someone that didn't try out for their basketball team last week because they're afraid of getting cut.
Yeah.
They just possibly robbed themselves of an incredible experience because they're afraid they weren't going to make the team. And you think about all the little kiddos that grow up being afraid to fail. I mean, risk averse society, people afraid to bet on themselves. And I think, getting back to what we've been talking about, I think it's the same thing for kiddos on the spectrum.
Yeah.
They've got to learn. It's tough. Gosh, there's some tough moments. My kiddo's pretty high functioning, and it's tough. Uh, just new stuff, just constantly. And a kiddo on the spectrum, it's when you're yelling at a kiddo on the spectrum, it could be a 5-word sentence. It feels like 5,500 words coming at them.
Yes.
They're just totally overloaded. And so you see someone acting out in a grocery market or at an assembly at school or at home or wherever. Maybe it's too loud. Maybe they're overstimulated.
Mm.
But if you don't take a moment to, take a deep breath and put yourself in someone else's shoes and be an empathetic person, which means being human,
Yeah.
uh, you're never going to understand these things. You're never going to. And so, yeah.
What do you suggest if someone does, because we've all been there, you're at Walmart, and I just had someone, the mom was just really, you can tell, really irritated. And I remember someone came up to me once, and I think my daughter made a mistake in I let her put the coins in, when you do the self-checkout.
Uh-huh.
And she made a mistake, and I don't know if I was tired and I lost my cool, and I think the tone of voice changed, and this mother came over to me. I'm sure your mom is feeling upset right now, and I felt like I was being scolded, and I'm sure she doesn't mean what she's saying. And I just looked at her, and it did wake me up, so to speak, because you
Yeah.
realize, oh my gosh, it was just one of those moments where you're rushed, and if the coin gets stuck, or you're putting the dollar bill through the coin slot, or you're just
Right.
thinking, but what do you suggest for the parent, as well as if you feel inclined to make the situation better, when you walk up to someone and you mean
Yeah.
well, but what should they come up? Should they?
I, well, I personally, unless a kiddo's being abused,
Leave it
I don't
alone.
dive into other people's affairs that way. But if I were walking by the kiddo, I might compliment something. So I might do something positive. I might
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I like your shoes," or "Hey, uh, man, I like your shirt. Cool looking shirt, little buddy." Or I might go by. I feel like I can almost diffuse and break up what's going on between the ears with mom and dad, or even with kiddo, um, by saying something positive, because right now they're both on the negative train,
Yeah.
and two negatives ain't going to make a positive here. So
Wow.
uh, I would say something positive in passing. I wouldn't create dialogue, because most parents are going to get offended
Yeah.
and aren't going to, and I can understand that. Someone else that I don't even know is trying to tell me how to basically run my kid. That's just not going to work out most of the time. But if you can go by, I wouldn't, I wouldn't say something, ironically, I wouldn't positively say something towards the parent, because the parent's
Right.
not going to want to hear it. But if you
Yeah.
do something nice for their kid, I
Oh,
don't,
yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't know about you, but anytime someone does something really nice for my kid, I instantly think, wow, that is a nice person.
Yeah.
I, I mean,
Exactly.
I always feel good when someone does something for my kid. So that's what I would do.
Great advice. I never even thought of that. Yeah, because I think someone when my daughter worked at a local grocery store, some lady made masks for all the kids. And I thought, wow, she came home so excited to show her mask. And you think it's such a tiny thing, but as a parent, you feel like they did something nice for you, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I don't think people, I know they can try to understand, but I don't think you totally get it until you have kids of your own. I mean, I always thought I got it when I was a head coach. I would always tell parents, I understand where you're coming from, but until you have kids, you really don't. And yeah, there's that feeling you get, like you said, there's that feeling you get when someone makes really one of the most important things on the planet to you happy and smile. Man, that's a great feeling.
I love it. In closing, I need some advice for my parents who have special needs kids. How do you comfort them, or what words can you say when they think, oh my gosh, they're maybe at a second grade level and they're seventh grade, or they just feel like my child, like you said, my child is destined to struggle and it's because of me. I think some parents either
Yeah,
blame themselves or they
right.
just think, that 15-minute that you gave yourself.
Yeah,
What if a parent is doing that for years?
yeah.
What can
Well,
you do?
um, I do always think you need to give yourself some grace. And I do think that you need to because there are going to be moments where you lose it, like within reason. There's going to be moments where you're really frustrated and you are super normal, that you are dangerously close to being normal. If
Dangerously
you're
close.
if you feel like your head's on fire and fire's coming out of your butt and you got smoke coming out of your ears and you don't know what else to do, I've been there. I've been there. I've been in those shoes. I've been in those meetings. I've been in those conversations where stuff has happened, stuff you never thought in your wildest dreams you would be having to deal with. But I would rephrase it in that you get to deal with it. I believe that God put you in this position because you are a rock star, because you have
Wow.
awesome running in your veins, baby. And you can do this. You can do this. Your kiddos' dreams are still real. They're still attainable. They're still valid. It just looks different. Just don't get caught up in the imposter syndrome. Don't get caught up in trying to compare your kiddo to someone else, because your kiddo is fantastic in their own right. And
Mhm.
you don't need someone else. You don't need someone else's permission or someone else's opinion to feel that. So, if your kiddo's in seventh grade and they're reading at a second grade level, you're going to bust your butt to make his experience at that second grade level one that's growth minded, one that's fantastic. You're going to make learning as fun as possible, even if it's not very much fun ever,
Yeah,
because some kids
ever.
just don't want to do it.
That's the thing though, right?
Yeah,
That's the
right.
thing where they say, no, I am not doing it. And instead of having holes in the wall, you just decide, I'm not going to do
Yeah,
it. And almost
yep.
don't you have to give yourself permission? I tell parents, give yourself permission not to do the homework, to keep
Mm.
peace, right? Because what
Yeah,
you're doing is
yeah,
when you're in that, I am not going to do it, you are going to do it. And it's this power play.
yeah. You just got to keep fishing for what works, because
Fishing for what works.
it's not going to be the same for everybody. Hey, holes in the wall, that's happened in the Dalton house. We've had a hole in the wall. But he's a fantastic kid. I would give up all my limbs and have all my teeth knocked out, and I
Wow.
still wouldn't change him for anything. I wouldn't give him up for anything.
Oh.
He is a rock star. But that's you just have to be forward minded. You cannot jump on the negative train. You can't stay in pity city. You can visit.
Pity city. Geez, how do you come up with these? My notes are like all over. Fall forward, cellar down.
Yeah.
Pity city. And sometimes we don't even realize we're in pity city because it feels real. Like we are in this, and we have to make it our home because here we are, and you have that.
Yeah. Right. But we just can't lose sight of the big picture thinking mentality.
Yes.
We're none of us are going to be, we're always becoming, right? The hard part here is when your kiddo gets put on the autism spectrum, a lot of the things that typical kids have, it's like a got put over it. Things seem a little bit more dramatic. Things feel a little more intense. And the answers don't come as quickly. They're not always, and I'm generalizing, right? Because there's super high functioning where you wouldn't even know this dude's on the spectrum. And then there's severe and profound. So I'm generalizing, but I guess just circling back, you got to meet them where they're at. And you got to stay positive, because once you jump on the negative train, it is really hard to get off. It is really hard to get off. The more you have that thought, the more it becomes cemented. It's almost like you're mummifying your learning fibers with negative. And the only way you get rid of that negative is to start. If you've ever wrapped yourself, if you know anything about first aid, you know that if you get a cut and you wrap it with bandage or, bandage or dressings, if you know first aid, you know that you don't ever get rid of those. You get rid of them eventually, but when you put on new dressings, you don't take off the old ones. You just keep putting them on top.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's the same thing with teaching and learning and thought patterns. You're not going to get rid of the negative stuff. You're never going to get rid of it. It ain't going away. The only way to conquer this bad boy is to remummify it with good stuff, with positive stuff, with stuff that's going to help you moving forward, because what happened 15 seconds ago already happened. You're not going to get rid of it. It ain't going away, but I can do something about moving forward. So, yeah.
Wow. That is pretty powerful. I love these little, the word that you said. I love the description, remummify. Because I used to think that I need to get rid of it. As parents, you're like, I need to get rid of the negativity and just only keep pushing the positivity. And when you do that and you're forcing it, it's not a very positive interaction.
Right. Well, it's just a frame of mind. Like if I told you right now, Karen Gibson, Muscle Beach from the islands, if I told you right now for the next 3 seconds, do not think about a pink elephant. You're going to think about a pink elephant for the next 3 seconds. It's how we frame things in life. How are we going to frame our lives and our kids' lives in a way that it's going to have us moving forward? That's going to have us be positive. That's going to help us be productive. That's going to give us energy and habits that are going to steer us towards our big ideas and give us our best shot at being our best self.
Definitely. So how can people find you?
Well, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I'm best_self_you on Instagram. I just started my first TikTok account.
I saw it. You guys have to see. And your name is it the same?
It's the best self you. The best self you. And you can email me. You could email me at braddaltongroup at gmail.com. And if you want to buy my book, I wrote a bestseller.
Do you have it right
last
there?
spring. Yeah, it's right
I love that.
there. You
Is
can
that
get
you?
on.
Is that you on the cover?
You know what? I wish I could say I was that cool. I'm not that cool yet. I've got years before I'll reach the Gibson level of
One
awesome.
day.
Yeah. You can get on Amazon and buy that anytime you want. DNA of a winner. And I would love to get your feedback.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect Christmas gift. You guys have to follow him. See, it's for his TikTok. I just saw it last night, and that's amazing. It's amazing how you can be so powerful in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Did you do that in one
Well,
take?
what's that?
Did you do that in one take?
Yeah. Oh, no. Again, I'm not as cool as Karen.
No, I've done things and it's like, blah, blah, blah. Oh wait, let's redo it. Blah, blah, blah. Let's redo it.
You know what? I've done stuff like that on Instagram and on LinkedIn, and I'll end up taking it like 15 times.
Yeah.
And then end up going with the first one. I'm like, oh, I can do better. I can do better. I can do better. And like you said, some of them you'll get 10 seconds and you're like, nope.
Well, because you mispronounce something,
Yeah.
or it's like, oh my gosh. But 15 seconds, when you do the 15-second thing, that you don't realize how short 15 seconds is.
Super, super short. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Now you only have 3 more interviews to go. This was fun and very enlightening. I think I'm going to use some of your what would you call that? Your little
my verbiage.
Your verbiage in a TikTok.
You go, sister.
I'll give you credit
take
for
it and run with it, girlfriend.
Well, thank you so much, and enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday. And I'm sure I will see you at the next Coach V thing. But we should do you, me, Deslin, and Mello. We should do like a fun thing.
That would be a fun date. I would be down for that.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.